day by day or whatever. And, don't come on my page with no bull. You know what I mean? Like, just don't do it. So, because you're all on my IP, and especially you guys that are Zionists or with the program, the genocide program, the Mormon program, MK Ultra, any kind of torture CIA project that you affiliated with. If you come here, you in my phone, you're going to be monitored. But I just want to, ramble because this is my way to vent and get whatever I got to get off my chest out in the world. Because of all this crap, I'm homeless behind this. And so now they're using against me that I don't live over in out of the country, so I can't get help. But so now they using that, they weaponizing that against me. I can't get help because of I don't live in the country. So now I got to come up with $300 or whatever for my application or whatever. But it's all good because you know what, God will provide. He does provide. And the God that I believe in, I don't know what God y'all believe in, but right now, the God that I believe in, I guess, put me on punishment, I guess, or put me on timeout or whatever it is. Um, and I just gotta wait it out. I don't see how I'm gonna do it, but it's gonna get done. I'm gonna get the $300 some kind of way, shape, or form. So I'm just gonna go over some subjects or whatever that's been on my mind. And I'm going to complain. Somebody says stop complaining. No, I'm going to complain because you guys put me in this program. So I get up. I'm noticing that this is the way that they're frying us with these weapons. Like when I lift up to like get on my suitcase or whatever, or like I was just trying to do something randomly on my hand. Look how red my hand is, and that would let you know that they frying my hands because whatever. So I go because they want my hands to be weak. So I go to lift up on something, and it just seemed like my whole hand is just gonna fall off. Then my knee this morning, it just seemed like my whole knee was just going over and getting hit with these 5G weapons or whatever. And people be like, "Are you off your meds?" We all know about this program now. We all know that it's reverse psychology, and everybody want to say that we're conspiracy theorists, but you guys have these silent weapons that you're using. Everybody that's using them is going to pay for it. So you go either get kicked out the treaty, or your insurance is going to go real high on anything that you have, so you won't be able to afford it. So that's how they're gonna starve you guys out. So instead of paying restitution, because I really don't want none of you guys that's using these weapons to have any type of immunity at all. Like if it was up to me, I'd just shut everybody off the internet. The internet would take a break for about a good 10 years, so that way we can recoup and then start all over again. And I am ruling from my phone because I am on espionage. What the fuck? I say go to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? So they listening to me, but they just not here with me. Nobody's protesting no more. Nobody's doing any of this stuff. Like we're all fighting down on paper. This is if you want to fight, you have to fight. Against the with the Constitution, with the amendments, or whatever. You can't fight against it. You can't. They don't want you protesting or none of that. So protesting is pretty much out the door for the black community. And the black community, let me tell you something. As far as what I know, they're not helping nobody. The black community, they have given out. They're not fighting for nobody. They got theirs, and so you better get yours, and I'm gonna get mine. That's how it is with the black community right now. Okay, because I see everybody, and a few people is talking about the direct energy weapons, but which is a shame that the black people they took these contracts, so they're using the direct energy weapons, just talking about the blacks right now. You know, the foundational Americans, the shadow slave, you know, descendants or whatever, us. You know, they took these contracts and now they're like, you know, they've been blackmailed. And so now they don't you don't see none of them talking about these weapons. None of them. I don't see nobody talking about the issues that I'm talking about. And I'm a small potato compared to them. They're not talking. Not even the rappers is talking about this because they took those contracts. I mean, I don't see nobody talking about this. Like, so they got theirs, but when it boils around to it, then these people are going to have to pay the consequences of getting kicked out the treaty, which is so sad because us foundational black people, we started, well, we've been, you know, up under slavery for 400 years, going on 500 years, because we still in slavery, whether we believe it or not. They find different ways of putting us up under these acts. So we got to start over again because you guys took these weapons, and this is why I'm disappointed in the black community because you guys took these weapons just to start all over again. Like you guys are gonna have to start all over again to show to the white Americans, you know, or the white people because they in power over here in the United States, you know. Y'all gonna have to prove yourself. All we going all the way backwards because you guys took Department of Defense contract to basically human traffic in a conspiracy to murder. Like, you know, they're going to slap this on the black community first. You guys go first. Look at Diddy. Look at Cosby. Look at, um, what's his name? R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? They finna slap this right on you guys. It's unfortunate that you guys are going to have to pay these consequences for the next 400 years. Like, you guys won't even, like, y'all been living real good for the last 40, 50 years off of taking these contracts or whatever and being the gatekeepers. You guys are straight up gatekeepers. And it's a lot of you guys, a lot of you guys. So they did a study where they said 70% of the black people is living real good because they took human trafficking contracts from the White House to hold the other, what is it, 70, 80, 90, 100, the other 40, what is it? Yeah, I think it counts. 70, 80, 90, 100. The other 30%, yeah, the whole 30% of the people down. So y'all holding 30% of the people down, and I'm looking at these black people, and I'm like, damn, y'all balling, and I could just tell that they, you know, doing really well. You know what I mean? And I'm not hating or nothing like that, but they eating off of me. So they're like, okay, well, we gonna hold these people down. We're gonna take their cryptocurrency. We're gonna use their name. We're gonna get, you know, loans in their name, credit in their name. So y'all can't get nothing. You know, if you snooze, you lose. And that's the way it is with them, capitalism and Marxism and socialism at its best. So you guys took this contract, and it's a lot of black women. So this one black lady, she was up under the Biden administration and the Kamala Harris, Biden Harris administration. And she was a big contractor. So her and her group, they had took these contracts for um, I don't know, whatever. She had a contract, right? But it was within the schools or whatever school system. But then they put her in another contract, you know, another cohort contracting, um, I guess, job description or whatever. And that was to traffic kids. And she said, oh no, I'm not doing it. This, you could probably find it, but it's a black lady or whatever. She went to the police and she said, oh no, not up under my watch. And I mean, they was going to give her like $5 million to do it or whatever. So this is what I'm saying. Um, you know, through the grapevine, I heard that a lot of the social media bad actors are using these weapons and stuff like that to guard the internet. It's finna go down. You know, they not finna. They were getting all that USAID money and all that or whatever. And so let's move on from that, but it's still we still on the subject of the hammock. Is that the or chair? The hammock. What is it? The hammock is like one of those cushiony chairs you pull out, and put your feet up. Or give me a wheelchair, one of the two electric wheelchair. I'll sit in that because that's what they're trying to make me do. They're trying to put the gravity on my ass so they can weaken my ass muscles and my ass bones that connects to my legs or whatever. Y'all know those bones. So then that way I can get weakened and just be sitting down destitute. You know what I mean? What is it called when you destitute and sedentary? Yeah. So and be rolling around in a wheelchair with the rest of my black people that they put these weapons on, gravity and shit and NASA. Anyway, I digress, and I was going on what subject was it, but it still has something to do with the weapons. The churches, the church committee, which is linked to the Rothschilds and CIA. And the church committee, they changed the name from the church committee to um, it's something else. I forgot what it. Trump changed it, and so he changed it up under civil rights. And so basically, he took the civil rights and he gave it to all the Christian national churches and probably some black churches or whatever to take these weaponized contracts, these Department of Defense contracts. So when you go to the churches now, you see all these lights and stuff like that, and all these 5G lights that they put in their parking lot to basically, you know, keep an eye on their people or whatever. Um, so now you got the churches, they all mostly, they're going to have to pay because it's not going to be any more money for them with the nonprofit. Um, so here we go with this rule. With the nonprofit agencies, they're not going to be able to get that money. You know, when they start doing gardening and all that stuff, or whatever, everything start blowing everywhere. I'm just gonna let him know that I'm right here because he can do it without blowing all that stuff over here. Because I was wondering what this part don't even have like grass over here where I'm at, y'all. But if it gets too loud or whatever, I might just have to go. But I don't want to go because I got to get my word out every single day. I'll be on here every day getting my word out about being held captive up under 702 FISA foreign intelligence and basically, you know, having all my rights and everything taken away. So the churches, we go to the churches, the Mormon church, because they keep bugging us and harassing us. But now we know that the Mormon wants to sacrifice the Mormon. They want to sacrifice to me and my son. So we was wondering why they wanted us so bad in Oregon to get my son, not even me, to get him baptized or whatever. Because if this makes sense or not, they want to get him baptized to sacrifice him. You see what I'm saying? So they want him to be a born again Christian to sacrifice him. Because I started reading the Bible and they believe in reading their Bible. I only read like not even a chapter. And he said, read this, one of the missionaries. And so I read it, but then he walked away into a whole nother room. He said, bring it back in here in that room when you're ready to come back in there. So as I'm going in there, in the chapters they was going over there, they talked about the chapter that I read was talking about burning and crying. Okay, so what my theory on that is that they was trying to will me in to see if I was okay with burning and crying. You know what I mean? So that way I could have what you know. You're not going to do that and blackmail me into using these weapons. So then when y'all go down, then I got to go down with y'all because eventually all good things come to an end. So I'm gonna change how that Mormon church works. It's gonna become. We're gonna work it inside and out. You know what I'm saying? Until it's really dissolved. It's gonna be a non and void. You ain't gonna even be able to say Mormon no more when I get done with it. Because you proved to me that you guys are some straight up killers. Because at the end of it, he gonna say, "Well, we'll have to work on peace, practice peace one day." After we read the chapter with Abraham and it's about Abraham was gonna sacrifice his son with the knife before he was gonna get to his throat to slit him and all that. Like, I ain't got time for that. Okay, because if I'm gonna be killing some people or whatever, you know, why would I need your help to go kill somebody? Why would I need you guys' help? Put me in a program to have me inflicting genocide, silent genocide, because these weapons are silent. Why would I inflict genocide on people's children? You guys are burning babies. You guys are eating babies. Y'all want to sacrifice my son so y'all can eat them? This is what I'm saying about this reptilian bullcrap. Like, so the churches, they all didn't turn evil. I was wondering why things started changing about when I moved to Oregon. Let's just say that the churches were changing. I don't know how the churches was ever in Oregon if it was already culted, because the black people up in Oregon, they all is one. And if you ain't on the same thing that they on, they don't mess with you, because I think they all be trafficking up there. That's the thing. That's why they don't let you in the clique, because they all know each other. So, and they all in on the human trafficking. And I know that for a fact because of the way that I was treated within the business organization or whatever. So it's all about trafficking. The churches is trafficking. So, you got the white nationalists, Christian nationalists. So they talk about, well, if you ain't white, then we're going to come kill you. So that means that the black people ain't going to win no way, because the white people going to go up in their church and kill them. That's what they said. They're like, basically, and then put y'all in concentration camps after y'all done took the Department of Defense contract through the Air Force and through the military. There was all kind of different ways of getting these contracts. So now y'all running around with military fatigue on, and this is everybody now, and the immigrants too. Y'all running around with military fatigue on, but they talk about don't go in public with the military stuff on now. Oh, well, no, it's too late now. Make sure that the Department of Defense contractors and the civilian contractors keep wearing the military fatigue and everything, your code fatigue, keep wearing it, so that way that these sleeper cells or whatever that they got posted everywhere, they can come up and they can get your ass. Because then you deserve to be God. Because you was up here acting like you was in the military, out here running and getting all ready for the military when you haven't even got signed into the military. You haven't even got recruited into the military. But what they did was they made the civilians military people up under the civilian contract. So because I know why they did that, because the veterans, they would come home and they wouldn't be able to get a job. They would have to get retrained from out of the military. So they said, well, how about we do like military civilian contracts? So then that way they can guard the internet, they can be security guards. This is why we're flooded with security guards. And then we'll tell them not to mess with the public or whatever, and then we'll just keep it secret. And so whoever is not in, then they just get weaponized. Period. You know. So, anyways, I'm on here early in the morning because y'all might see this later or whatever. But I had to say what was on my mind, and me being a black woman, being treated as a second-class citizen don't feel good. So this morning, I go to Winchell's or whatever, and Anybody, I heard from the other people that's homeless, they want you to wait outside or whatever. They tell them. So the lady, she barely speaks any English. I'm in there. I got my little money on my little PayPal debit card. And here she go. Like I said, can I have two waters? I didn't mean two waters. They know that when I go in there, I like the thin crust. For me, I like the thin crust when I'm not sharing with nobody. But I don't mind the thick crust. But just when I like my personal pizza, yeah. And this ain't no pizza gate up over here, okay? And y'all be talking about the pizza and all that, talking about pizza face and all that. No. Yeah, I don't know if that's some gang stalker stuff y'all coming up in here with, but so I go over there to Winchell's. So I say two waters. Now they know when I go up in there, I want hot water because I got my own tea, I got my own coffee. I just don't have no more sugar right now. So they all confused. So I said, just give me some donuts and give me two hot waters. Just give me some donuts to replace what y'all charge me extra on my card, and give me two hot waters. So they gave me the donuts. They gave me a hot water. I said, no, I want two hot waters. Well, that's gonna be $extra. Okay, well then I'll pay the $extra. But at the same time, I'm over here filling my thing up with day sugar because you guys is acting funny. At the lady gonna say, "Well, go to the window." I said, "No, I'm not going to the window." And the one lady said, "Just go." She just told her because she speaks fluent English. Just go to the back and get out the way because she the one that always be having an attitude, but you barely can speak English though. And you over here telling me that go to the window. No, you, as a matter of fact, you go to the window. Okay? Because I told them, don't treat me like a second class citizen because I've been coming to Winchell from the time I was a little girl and I can remember Winchell. Okay? I can remember these, franchises, Winchell's, Dunkin' Donuts. I just didn't really remember Dunkin' Donuts too much, but I remember Winchell's. So don't tell me that I'm not a patron because I patronize you guys' businesses since I've been a little child. Like, I'm just saying, you know. So you gonna come over here from another country and tell me to go? Well, how about you just go back to your country then? Okay, you violating me. In my own country, I can't even get an apartment in my country. I can't get a car. I can't even get a job. If I get a job, they're gonna use me because everybody watching me with my stars, and they're watching me, so they'll come over and be hitting me with weapons all day, and I'm trying to work. What if I'm working with hot water and somebody hit me with a weapon or something, and then I just drop my hot coffee or drop the hot coffee in the customer's hands or some shit like that? Like what? So I can't work. Like I said, I woke up this morning, my body was aching and everything. I gotta like move around and exercise you know, and then if I eat too much sugar or something like that, then that's when they really hit me because they're like, okay, she ate enough sugar, and then she, ate enough salt. So they're watching my salt intake or whatever. So those are the times. If I eat too much sugar, they can really lit me up. Some kind of way they lit me up when I do my legs or whatever, and that's what they call uh, sugar diabetes. No, it ain't no sugar diabetes. It's them using the weapons on your legs. They like trying to saw your foot off and then talking about, oh, well, that was sugar diabetes, and let me just take your toe so we can go eat it on the Epstein Island. That's what that is. And with the Clintons and those reptilians and all them. I said, this shit is just crazy. That the Mormons gonna get their payback. You guys gonna get your payback because whatever y'all getting from that White House, just get it from your congregators because y'all don't need no more money from that White House. No churches need any more money. Nonprofits should be a non and void. It should be dismantled because nobody is doing right with their nonprofit. If you can prove that you actually doing right through the nonprofit, then well, okay. instance, they got all these food places over here. Okay, this food is not going bad for like 1 or 2 days. Now, I don't know where they take the food and they give it to the people, but the nonprofit agencies just say, you know what? How about we do this? And they probably do it, but we just don't know it. But that food, I believe it'd be like a day old, and they just warm it up and give it away. You know, when you're giving out to the homeless people. But how about you get a cleanup crew, and at every park, almost every other park in the United States, where the homeless people be at, not just on Skid Row, you know, where we could go and pick up food and you can have like old pizza. I'm just saying, like, just have like a microwave out there, warm the shit up because you guys get all this money to keep the money going. You know what I mean? But you guys, obviously, up under the church committee, which they need to dismantle the church committee because the church committee is doing nothing but damage. You know, it's done a lot of damage because the CIA works with the church committee, and the Rothschilds work with the church committee. So they're the main ones funding this, and it was supposed to be, in the MKO program, it was supposed to be dismantled, not the church committee, but the program within the church committee was supposed to be dismantled. What is the point of the church committee? If you're gonna burn people or fire people, I could see it was just up under the CIA, but the CIA was like, no, that was their way, I guess, to build trust within the religious, you know, congregation. So then that way, I don't know who they're going for after the church or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is that the CIA should be dismantled, the DOJ, the Department of Justice. I'm just saying that, they should be dismantled because they've been doing so much dirt that you can't trust them judges, you know. And they everybody's in it. You know what I mean? Everybody is in it. Like I said, the black people, we got to start all over again. And I know for a fact because I sit up there and I watch you guys, and I don't watch a lot of um, the black, uh, influencers. I watch just enough, but the ones that I watch, they're not talking about this. One of my girls, my terrorist card reader, I call them terrorist card readers, because most of them are in this program and they talk about how they read your mind and how they, about the weapons and stuff like that, and how this world is going to be able to read your brain and you can pick something up with your brain. It's not that. It's just that you'll be having a robot on you, and the robot will be reading your brain. Pick this up, and the robot will pick it up. And ain't nobody got no special powers like that, okay? Because they already got me hooked up to the neural link already. So yeah, and this war thing going on here. So yesterday on X, because that's where I get most of my news from. The lady, one of the military people, she was talking about how she is in NATO or whatever. So they got my name up under NATO, and NATO is supposed to. Um, NATO is supposed to be, we're 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 the number one country that supports NATO. We give NATO we give NATO like 50% of what we fund NATO 50%, and then all the other countries fund them because they're up under NATO. However, NATO took it up on themselves to figure y'all waste my coffee. Um, NATO took it up on themselves to talk about to put me in a program. So the one lady, everybody mad at her, but she was just talking about how NATO, everybody's supposed to be as one, and this is why they use NATO in America, so they can all fight together or whatever, and how she was just saying how America's gonna go down and how America is not right, within the NATO, I guess, regime or whatever, and they, you know, cartel, whatever, the army cartel. So she was just giving out some goods, but the other people, a lot of people in the chat got mad because she didn't give any like secret information. She was just saying how NATO is, if we go to war, NATO go to war for us. She was an American, and she was over in some country, and NATO, I guess, just don't want to follow the rules up under the United States. That's what it is. And so it's like they don't want to fight certain countries because certain countries is in NATO. And so she said we're supposed to be as one, not fight each other. So she's against Israel, and then it's another man that came on. He's against Israel, whatever. He said he's not fighting for Israel. He's fighting for the United States. So they want to give him a dishonorable discharge and make up lies and stuff like that. So, this is what I'm saying about the military. Everybody, these must be statements for these people that were working for the military, because I don't understand how they could just root on, working for Israel. Not Israel. We are the United States of the terror, corporate America. Okay? That's what she just told the truth about our resources, but not like that. And so she really, really knows. She's like, not like that, because America makes you be fooled and make you, feel like, I think they overrated. Yeah, we need corporate America, and that's why we have so much money. But if all the corporate companies leave, then what? Will it be corporate America? No. They come here because they know all the immigrants will come here and work for them. However, she was just saying, just get ready for a decline in everything. You know, the United States is going down. That's what she said, and I believe it. I seen it. I seen this coming. You know what I'm saying? I've seen this coming because of what Trump is doing, because of what all the administration's been doing for the last, I want to say 30 years since the Clintons got in, the Bushes got in, the Obamas got in. I'm just seeing this now. Trump, he's going to destroy it. So everybody better get their shit together. And black people, y'all going to get ready to lose all those contracts. Hold on to all those millions you had got. Hold on to them, because you don't need it. You most definitely don't need it. I don't know what to tell y'all, because, I know y'all got blackmailed into taking those contracts. Now you can't even go back, and y'all not talking about it. And I'm looking at you guys like, just waiting. I've been waiting for 2 years for you guys to talk about it. Nobody talked about these weapons, though. Not one black person. Not none of the rappers. Not even Nicki freaking Minaj. And she's right now the #1 bootleg. She ain't talking about none of it. Now she acting like she's snitching, but she was on there using weapons on me and my son through TikTok or whatever. And she's the #1. She may not have been on Epstein Island, but she over there using the weapons though. Trump got her. She the biggest contractor with the weapons. Okay. These people from these different countries, these are communists. These people don't care about us over here. They here to take over. They here to infiltrate, to act like they're us and they're not us. They're here overtaking up, our rapping styles and everything, and then come over here and weaponize us with the, and make us look bad. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, MC Light and Queen Latifah and Salt and Pepper, and yeah, they all had sex appeal, but it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? It was like, push it good. You know what I'm saying? Like, a kid would even have known what they were talking about. They would just probably thought they were talking about a dance or something. You know what I mean? But I just feel bad for the black people that took, and all the celebrities that took their USA ID money and the Department of Defense money. really feel bad for you guys because, and I'm not happy with the black community because of that. You guys set us back like 400 years, but I gotta go because this man